What is resilience? Social scientists, economists, architects, engineers, and others all have definitions of resilience that they use today. But what does resilience really mean in the context of the performance of our building stock after natural disasters? Consider the cities of Nashville and New Orleans, both of which were growing economically in the early 2000s, until in 2005, Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and caused an estimated $80 billion in property and economic losses. Over the ensuing decade, New Orleans continued to struggle to find its footing, whereas Nashville grew and thrived. If you think of Nashville as a proxy for what New Orleans might have been had it been more resilient, you can see that the city of New Orleans could have lost up to another $100 billion or more because it wasn't resilient. There are often a lot of public misconceptions about building codes. We often think of building performance along the dimensions of safety, damage or repair cost, and recovery time. It might be surprising to learn that code-based design is primarily focused on safety only and not the other two dimensions. Engineers and architects must use resilience-based design to get a holistic understanding of the performance of buildings across all three dimensions. Let's look at Christchurch, New Zealand, a once thriving city of 400,000 that in 2010 and 2011 was struck by two very powerful earthquakes. The good news is, of the thousands of buildings in the central business district, only two collapsed. However, economic losses were on the order of $25 billion, and over 70% of the buildings in the downtown district had to be demolished because they were so heavily damaged. So did performance meet expectations? Well, it depends who you ask. From a code perspective, only two buildings collapsing out of several thousands is certainly a measure of success. But if you talk to the people that lived and worked in Christchurch, the performance certainly didn't meet expectations. The US Resiliency Council was founded in 2011 as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our vision is a world in which building performance and natural hazards is understood, and our mission is to establish and implement rating systems that describe the performance of buildings during earthquakes and other natural hazards, so that communities and companies can build a more resilient future in a way that everyone can understand. Building owners and tenants, communities and companies can use US Resiliency Council rating systems to describe the performance of the buildings in which they live and work across the dimensions of safety, damage, and recovery. Buildings that meet or exceed building code expectations can be awarded a placard for public display. When cities use the US Resiliency Council to rate their buildings, they develop a better understanding of their strengths and weaknesses and can use that information for long-term planning to make their communities more resilient in the future. Architects and engineers are using the US Resiliency Council rating system to design new buildings to achieve higher levels of performance and resilience. You might be surprised to learn that achieving a gold or platinum USRC rating typically only adds between 1 and 10% of the overall construction cost to a building. By using the US Resiliency Council rating system, architects and engineers can bring value to cities and companies by developing long-term strategies to improve disaster recovery and resilience. You can learn more about the US Resiliency Council on our website, or watch this additional YouTube video for a more detailed description of our goals and mission. We encourage you to join the US Resiliency Council and to start rating buildings so that together we can improve community resilience one building at a time.